Hello, everybody. Apologies, a few minutes late. I had to run to the airport, but we're here and we're live, and it's only about 9 minutes late, and I have pizza and a nice cold water, so everything's really good. But why does that do that? How about there? All right, how about there? We'll do that. Let's see who's here. Jerry Bowden, Sixth Street Garage, Kerosene Cucumbers, Josh Homan, Buddy Carfino, KJ Kiley, Fun with Cars, 69 Cornet 500, Olive's here, and Granddad's Junk. What's going on, everybody? Like I said, just getting set up. So let's, as I'm talking, I'll get all my normal, like little blocks and things and get the Gmail pulled up so we can send in some pictures. And then open up this one and open up a YouTube. And then I can go and start the show the way I usually do. Like I said, I just ran in the door here. So give me a second. Oh, and there's good news. The Barracuda has left the building. So yeah, it's gone finally. So that's good. Went and over to the storage, picked up the Ranger, brought the Ranger back. So that's all that's in the garage now is the Ranger and the Falcon. Hopefully that's going to stay that way for a while. Stuff happens. People drag home junk. But that's all the good news for today. What's everyone else's good news? I'm trying to find my. Is it a regular video? Let's try that. You think I would know this by now. But oh no, here it is. Bingo, bango, bongo. El Paso. Okay, perfect. Turn the volume up. Go back to StreamYard. Go down to this little tab here that I can't see without moving the laptop. Share screen. There we go. There we go. Is it on there yet? No, because you gotta push this button. They made it worse. I swear to God. This used to be easy. And then you got to go back here and find the page it's on the tab, and let's start the show. I feel so much better.
And then here's the challenge of burnouts for distance.
All that for that, but it happens. So let's go back to StreamYard. Come on, StreamYard. There you go. And let's catch up with the okay. Hello, everyone. Hey, everyone. Hey, everyone. Okay, Olive, doing late night surgery. No, I was doing a late night. It's dark out now, but it wasn't late. Airport run. Pick up the wife from the airport. She was up north. She had to go to a funeral. Granddad says, "Good day. What's going on?" Not much. Shannon's here. Port tires. Yeah. Looks like a good candidate for no name. It was great. I went to the first no name nationals with that truck. And I specifically put the LS and the turbo motor in it for that first event. And actually, that was the first vehicle to go down the drag strip on the very first no name nationals. So what that is worth, I don't know. But I was there and done that, got the t-shirt, got some pizza. And everything is good in the world. No. Excuse me for that. But over the weekend, since it's Monday, I thought it was Tuesday all day. Went and shot a couple videos on the dragster. Put one up. That went up Saturday or Sunday. I have another one that I filmed. I got to put together yet. you bring enough for everybody? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. See? Pizza. For everyone. Here, take a bite. See, some of you already took a bite. So, yeah, that's me sharing pizza on the internet. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. So, what's the engine in that? It's a 250,000 mile, 5.3 liter LS engine with a bunch of with a stock computer and a bunch of good eBay parts. A very expensive turbo 400 transmission. The transmission itself with converter cost me $2,000 to have built. That's like the most expensive part on that whole truck. The rest is eBay and Jags and stuff like that. And it's a at home rattle can paint job and stuff like that. So yeah, all budget, all fun, makes big noise, goes real fast. Good times had by all. So like I said, over the weekend, some guys came and they bought the Barracuda, and it was because let me tell you what happened with that. It was a combination of failure because that car did not want to leave my garage and that lift. So showed it to a couple folks, drove it. Last time I drove it, kind of had to. There was something binding up or something like that. Put it back in the garage on the lift, and then it didn't move after that. So I ignored it for about 5 days, and I figured it was something in the rear end. So I got the back of the car up when it was on jack stands when it was on the lift. Pulled the wheels off. I could spin both wheels, but the drive shaft wouldn't spin. And before this, I could hear that you put it in gear and you could hear the U-joints clunk, 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 like it wouldn't go anywhere. So disconnect the drive shaft. Well, first I'd open up the rear end and I'd dump all the fluid out. And the fluid was like watery and weird. And I don't know what was in it. I checked it. It was full, check it was full, but I didn't actually see what was in it because it was always noisy. And so I dumped the fluid, looked in the back, everything looked okay. I mean, for a 60-year-old car, it looked pretty good. I didn't really see anything there, so I disconnected the drive shaft. And then solvent, I don't know, it was ancient worn-out gear lube, water, I don't, people do weird stuff to cars, so who knows what was in it. Anyway, pull off the drive shaft. The yoke was real hard to spin, but it spun. But the drive shaft was still locked up, so double, triple check it that it's in neutral, and it was. But it's a 904 trans. And on a 904, it's got 2 shift cables. This is a leftover from the freaking push button transmission on the dash days. And the back cable goes to a parking paw that when you put the shifter all the way forward, it pulls this lever back, and then this lever goes up and it locks in. Well, turns out, because to get to that, it's got its own separate little pan too. So there's a drain plug on that. It drains out a bunch of fluid, and it's 6 bolts. You take the bolts down, and at the end of the cable that runs this little parking paw thing that's separate on this transmission for God only knows why, had broken. So it was basically stuck in park. So, all right, I'll just take the parking paw out of it because there's no way I'm getting a park cable for a 904 transmission. I was done spending money on that car. No more. So I go to take out the parking paw. And to do it, there's a big bolt that runs in the back of the transmission that you have to, and it's long too. It's about yay long. That goes through the parking paw, and it pivots on that paw because it's a big shouldered bolt. And it, threads into the transmission. So bolt that. Well, you can't get it. You can get it 90% out, and then it hits the cross member. All right. Bad words. take the cross member down, and then it still won't clear because it won't clear the mount, and the mount is some rubber that's packed in some steel sleeve that you have to jam into the. It's a dumb setup. So undo the mount. So I got all these pieces all over. You can imagine, right? Get the bolt out, take the parking paw out, put the paw in the spring in this broken part of the thing, put that off to the side. At about this time, this guy shows up to look at the car. All right. And Fun with Cars says hello, and remember to hit the like button because it really does help. So we're walking around the car. I show the car to the guy, show him underneath, show him everything. He's like still interested, even though the car's in like 20 pieces. It's hilarious because the drums are off and there's no diff fluid in it, and the drive shaft's disconnected. Start the motor up. And of course, when it's not attached to a drive shaft, even though it's in park, there's no parking paw. It's like neutral. So the fluid in the converter is still turning. So it starts to kunk the drive shaft. On the bottom of the car, shut the car off. Okay, engine runs, show them that, lights come on, blah, blah, blah. So turns out he ends up buying it. He got a smoking deal on it. Smoking deal. And I tell him, look, come get it. Give me a couple hours, put this all back together. Because I had to go pick up fluid for the rear diff. I just didn't have any. I usually do, but just didn't have any. Get it all back together, put it all back together. Put the right diff fluid in it. It was like 75, 140. It was the thicker stuff. It's what they had at Wally World, cheap stuff, right? All back together. Boop, boop, boop. Drive it off the lift. Boop, drive it around. Drives really nice now. And the rear end noise is going. Go figure. You put lube in the rear end where it needs lube, and the rear end stops making noise. Call him up. Okay, car's done. Come pick it up. He wants to come the next morning. Comes the next afternoon. As I was just ready to leave the house to go pick up the Ranger, I'll get to that. And I fire it up, let it warm up, back it out of the garage, and say, "Lobster, there's your car, bud." And they back it out and they drive it away and drove it home. Gone. All right. Good news. So because I was leaving when they come to pick it up to go over to the Midnight Speed Lab, the storage that we have on, Tony and I have on the other side of town. And we're going to drop off the Belvedere. We're going to pick up the Ranger and drop off the Belvedere, kind of swap it in the space. Get that all done, get the Ranger home. Close the garage door, I'm done for the day. Even though that I still have a freaking mess all over the floor from that Barracuda. But I'll get to that this week. So the Ranger's home. Everything's good. No more extra cars. I still have a couple transmissions to sell, a bunch of motor parts, and a whole bunch of miscellaneous crap that I'm going to be putting on eBay, Craigslist, you name it. But I'm going to do a big garage clean out and finish up the Falcon, put the headliner in the Falcon, and then get the glass put in, put the interior in it, and I'll be driving that in spring. So after 15 minutes, that's my story. And need some water. So what did you all do this weekend, folks? Olive. Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't buy that car. I lost track of how it was going after the interior work. The car ran and drove fine. After that, the brakes pulled a little bit to one way and stuff like that, but it ran and drove. Headlights came on, wipers work, it had brake lights. It was a car. It needs work, right? Needs a lot of TLC and love and attention and stuff like that, but nothing a guy or a gal couldn't do if they really were into this car. And these guys, they wanted it. So, like I said, they got a smoking deal. And La 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 la. What am I saying? Yeah, they got a smoking deal. Checking. So, what are we going to do this week? Well, we're going to. It's only Monday, so we got to work this week, of course, and then we'll do the live with Tony on Wednesday night. In between, then I got a video on the parachute for that. Hey, Mexican Spec, what's going on, buddy? How you doing? Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. Blah blah blah. What was I saying? Sidetracked. Sorry. Oh yeah, Wednesday night with Tony's. Hopefully, be able to put together and edit and put up that video for the parachute in the next few days. If not, definitely by the weekend, and go from there. There's not much more to do on the dragster for me until we get parts, and Jeff is out of town for a couple weeks. I still get the gas tank, the fuel tank over here, which I already kind of went through it and made sure it's solid and all that kind of stuff, but I gave it one more good cleaning, and I'll take that back over there, figure out what we're going to do with that, and start researching some parts, I guess. So, okay, Mom. What to do? Hi, how you doing? Max specs and spec. Not too bad. If I remember to eat, yeah. Shannon. Okay, Shannon. Spent the weekend working on a 60s Studebaker dash that I have made into a shelf for under the TV in the garage. Cool fun project. Oh, send me a picture of that. You got a picture of that, Shannon? You could send to the. Yeah, we'll share that. We'll show it, even if it's not done. Who cares? It looks like it's going to be a cool thing. Run lights to the gauges and the radio so it looks functional, stuff like that. Yeah, send a picture of that. Definitely. There's the address right there. drartstuff21@gmail.com. Because to add the 21 for the new Gmail since the original one got hacked. Yeah, if the shoot didn't work, might make an exciting video. Yeah, we don't need that kind of excitement, and there's enough there anyway. You'll see in a day or so. Okay. Worked on the common oil, gave up on the Carter AFB, changed the battery, shined it, and got it in the garage. Oh, okay. It looked good with that wax and stuff on it. It looked pretty good. Johnny C. Oddly enough, my Malibu differential had water in the gear oil. I had driven through a high section of road water, not by choice. Somehow it seeped inside, discovered it a few days later. That might have been what happened. Because I'm not sure where the vent is on that 7 1/4, but I don't know. I don't know what was in it, but it's better now. I was doing a bit of cabinetry and firewood chopping today in the wild frontiers. Getting ready for winter? Yeah. You should remember to eat. When I worked at the Chevy dealer in 1987, I usually didn't eat all day. I was very skinny. Yeah. Chinese. Oh, you changing the axle bearings? Yeah, probably a pretty good idea. Oil grease dilution sucks. Yes. I should be cutting Kiwi's Remo for the Sunbeam Dash today. What's a Remo? Is that the little bird? I don't know. Explain to us that don't know what a Remo is, sir. Fun with cars, getting the plow truck ready for snow. You're a buffalo. So you just put like 1,000-gallon tank and just run it from November to February, constant, 24 hours a day for 90 days. But I suppose it's big money blowing snow up there, so that's not a big deal. Oh, Remo is a native tree. Oh, so you're going to cut him the wood so you can use the wood for this. Ah, see, now we have context, sir. So we can explain that. Oh, that's cool that you're going to be cutting the wood for his dash. There's a wide body on it. It's coming along pretty good. It's pretty cool. Johnny Steve. Lucky it's a straight six car, never under a lot of strain. Seems fine now. Yeah. Yeah, when I was younger, I used to have to remember to remind myself to eat. Now I have to remind myself to go to work because I'm busy eating. Big ol' Bob, what's going on, buddy? Nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. And then what else? Oh, why the Rangers back in the garage? Let's talk about that. I have to. The way I have the wastegate plumbed into the exhaust, it kind of goes under the car. It kind of hangs down a little bit. Wasn't too bad. It did get damaged when we had it at storage because backing it in, the lip is about yay high from the driveway to the slab where you park, and it just was enough to catch it and kind of knock it off and do a little damage to that. So I have to go in there and fix that, reroute all that. The rear redneck letter bar suspension on it worked up to a point. It was a little hairy at 550 horsepower. When it turned up the boost, I'll be in it and downshift it and hammer it, and it hits the boost. The whole truck goes hard left. So the rear end's in there doing all kinds of stuff. So I have to chop up that redneck letter bar stuff, which worked to a point. And then the way it looks like, probably going to put like a Caltrack system in it. And then I can adjust it. So if it still steers left, I can put some preload on that side and get it to go straight. Because the truck goes straight when you're not hammered on it, right? So it's not a front end alignment issue. But it goes hard left. So that's probably part of frame twist and rear end moving and stuff like that. But it's like, yeah. So the steering's a little notchy. I'm going to redo all that. The driver's side header sucks. Going to redo that. Redo the steering. Some adjustment and replacement of the wastegate and Caltrax on the rear of the truck for the winter. So between that and the Falcon, I got plenty of stuff to do. I don't need to drag home anything else. But if someone would show up with like a 72 or older El Camino or some kind of Mustang, it would probably yeah. But we'll try not to. Beagle Bob, moved to Georgia, just getting used to the time zone. Yeah, because you're in Georgia, you're on Eastern time, so you're way off from where you were out west. But it's probably not so hot. So glad you're getting settled in. I was able to, hang that part of your life up and start a new one. Could you have come? Cars. Ever do some tuning on a 4.6 turbocharge? What did you use? HP tuners? No. I've done some. Back when I had my 98 Cobra, I wasn't know anything about it. Then I had a guy do some stuff and trimmed up the fuel and stuff like that. That car ran beautiful. I did some little bit of stuff when I had, because I had 4, 5, 6 cop cars. Did not do anything with a turbo on it, but I did enough with the HP tuners on turbo LSs and other vehicles and things like that to where I could make it work. At least get it like in the area, and then drive it and then watch your scanner and see, make sure you're not going lean or knocking or anything like that. And yeah, not that big a deal. It's easier than you think. My truck needs TLC for sure. Retune, AC headliner, find the oil leak. So damn annoying. Yeah. Crash Roadrunner Garage. Good evening. Well, good evening to you, sir. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. I have some frozen fish for now. This will surely get me to. Okay, let's start to read in English. I'll have some frozen fish for now. This will surely get me to want to eat more later. Okay. Now that I read that in English, sounds good. What kind of fish are you eating? You eating fish sticks or? Explain a little more. Hello, Crash. Mexican Spec, shout outs, everyone. I had to take care of the cars after the sale. I did at least 10 cars a day for this and that. I was all over the place. We sold 300 cars a month. Okay. Yeah, and if you're running and gunning, you don't care about food. You eat later. It took me a minute, but I sent the pics of the Studebaker Dash in progress. I'm not so tech savvy. No problem. And they made it here. So dun, 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 dun. Oh, we got a bunch of pictures. Cool. Nice. And a good Bud Light sign. So let me share these. Let me move this out of the way so I can see the bottom of this screen, because I've got my laptop and I got this big monitor so I could see everybody what's going on. Share. And then it goes to this screen. And you have to go back to this screen. And you have to click on this screen. But we got it. So what year Studebaker is this, Shannon? Because that's pretty cool. It'd be cool if the radio worked and you plumbed in some, you did like a Bluetooth thing with some speakers or something. Yeah. It's nice. I like the two-tone. Is it the Bud Light Studebaker? No. Looks like you spent a bunch of time on it, so that looks pretty good. I like how you can switch the dash from the left to the right by just removing this piece and putting the gauges over here in case it's sold overseas. That's pretty cool. There's your bear. That's going to look good up on the wall under the TV there. And I think I got that same welder. Beer holder. That's good. I like it. It's a beer holder and it's got an ashtray. So it's a multi-purpose unit. I like it. It's cool. It's a cool project. Let's see this bear. Can we make this bigger? This is my pet bear, Larry. He likes to hang his tongue out. How heavy was that black bear? Because it looks like he's not super huge, but he's freaking big enough. Okay, let's go. Okay. Wow. You guys were busy in the last few minutes. Okay. Josh Holman likes fish sticks as well. People like Studebaker parts as decoration more than the complete car. Buff has a studio friend end up on the wall. Yeah, he does. That's out of control. Makes you very busy. Yeah. That's a killing there. Yep. Have you looked into airbags instead of Caltrax? After towing a few thousand miles, I'm very happy with my airlift springs. The reaction in the preload isn't the issue. It's you can actually the actual rear end's actually shifting, so I would need the Caltrax to steady the rear end in place so when it hits it, it doesn't want to, take that. Even though it's on a mini locker, it's wanting to take that rear passenger tire and shove it up into the driver's door. So I do have there's some makeshift things under there, but it was real lightweight. Like I said, it was good to a point, but at that point is past. With the Caltrax or the Torque Arm Master, or there's a couple different ones, but probably Caltrax because they're bolt in and they're proven. It holds the rear end parallel to the frame. So when it loads the side, and if it still walks a little bit, you could preload it so it's when it, so you can control the rear steering of the vehicle a little bit more. You don't really need the preload because it does weight transfer well because it's such a light vehicle. And I do have the battery and the nitrous bottle and the fuel cell and everything, in the rear. That's not the problem. The problem is that rear steering. I need to get rid of that rear steering that it's doing with the stock leaf springs and those homemade underride bars. And then I got to take it all down because the freaking bushings in the leaf springs may be bad also. And that's, they'll be fine driving, but as soon as you hit it, it's just, it's taking up that space with those wasted bushings and making the car go hard left. So, like I said, I have to take some stuff apart and see what I actually need. But yeah, that old system on there is just, it's not good anymore. Okay. Thank you, sir, doctor. Okay. You're welcome. Beretta and Corsica, my brother sister-in-law had the Mex. Yeah, those cars were hot when they came out with the Beretta with the door handle up on the B pillar. Yeah, everybody wanted one of them. There were good cars that came out in 87, 88, so people were buying future cars. And the CK trucks, too. I was there when the new Square Bods was there. Okay. It was a trip. Wasn't bad car from a lot of 87 from rebadged imports to the Corvette. Yeah, the Geo Metros and yeah. McDonald's filet of fish, perhaps. Ooh. Mexican spec. Part of my life was spent on a wrecker and a rollback. GMT 400 generation OFC. One was TBI, the other 6.5. DD learned the manual on a 76C10. Good evening to one and all. This is Josh Holman. Hello, Josh. Thanks for being here. Justin, thanks for playing. Thanks for coming in tonight. Appreciate that. Nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Funwood Car says, hi, Josh. Shannon, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's like a 67 Lark wagon that I cut it off. It's cool. It's really cool. You're the only guy that's going to have one. So, and what did that bear weigh? Think about diesels came out after I left the dealership in the CK series. On a second thought, that maybe we did sell some diesels to the Burbank Airport. Justin, yeah, tiny little Bluetooth module go a long way. Yeah, you could, because you got the TV there. make that, incorporate a sound bar or something that comes out the bottom so you can, I don't know. It's your project. Sorry, we're stumping all of your project, but it's cool. So whatever you do with it, it'll be good. Decorative car parts, we'll take replicas. Our original ones are fine. Caltracs are not what I remember them being. I thought they were like coilovers that added extra leaves to the rear springs. They were adjustable individually. I didn't know what that was. So I was thinking of. No, these are just an under spring torque arm to the frame, and they're off a bracket that pivots and things like that. Like I said, the rear springs in that are fine. And in fact, the passenger side has one more leaf than the driver's side. So it's a little thicker to handle that, that extra load. So that's really not the problem. The problem is the rear end wants to walk around and steer the car to the left. Functional didn't mean to send picture of the bear. That's my father's wood tuning. Okay. That's fine. We just, we like to share stuff. We like to share stuff here. It's all good, brother. Justin, sounds like the truck is twisting. Oh, I can tell you for sure it's twisting. The 4-cylinder Ranger frame that's lightweight C channel is not meant for a V8 with a boost. Okay. Moving on. Does the bear know he belongs to your dad? Just curious. Hey, yeah, food prices are out of control here, so almost everything is high effort right when I need to be getting other things done. Yeah, I took care of them. A lot of good burgers. Okay. Bear burgers. Not a smart idea to own a bear. One guy thought he could do that. He got eaten. That's why the bear's tongue was hanging out. He's wanting to eat somebody. Austin at the time always thought most of those trucks had a carb due to the air cleaner. LOL. Yeah. Big power's hard on everything. Yeah, it's you just got to adapt and not try to kill yourself. So, and if it's at the point where it is, something with the frame, I'll just have to take that drivetrain out and put it in like a Fox body or G body or something. Something I can handle a little bit better, even though it's a full frame and it's got a roll bar in it. So, it's like a person getting their arm ripped off by a chimp. Yeah, exactly. Olive hated Beretta and Corsica, and the kids were nice enough rentals. Yeah. Chevy Sprint art. We had the Chevy Nova, Chevy Spectrum, and the Chevy Sprint. Okay. Josh can imagine. That's not. Justin says, thank you. I rented an 8990 Cadillac STV in Vegas to go to LA. It was a nice rental car. Had a new 88 GT. Really liked it. It was an automatic Z51 package. A friend of mine rented a Corsica for some trip to Maine. I'm up in the hills being like, this car actually doesn't suck considering they were bad, but they were, they're not lifetime cars. They were, cheap cars that were meant to be thrown away. And that's where 99% of them are now. They're all thrown away. They kind of look the same. Yeah, cutting corners with that TBI system. And fresh air from the fender. I just saw Beretta at Indy Cars and Coffee Buffalo, complete with blockbuster VHS cassette tape in the front seat. That was a nice touch. Whoever did that was a nice touch. That's thinking ahead. Good on them. Johnny C. When the first one came out on the lot, I sat in with the guy I was working with him, and I said, twin plastic rib thing for a shifter would not do well long term. I was wrong. Rear wheel drive Beretta is killer. Okay. In 2007, I bought a 1996 Beretta here in Mexico, sold it 3 years later. It was a very nice car. Where are you again, Olive? She says, I'm in Georgia and it's fun. See, sadly, the dash is really warped. Only complaint. And the door handles broke. We couldn't get in the car. Beautiful State just drove through there last year. But of course, got an auction in Portland, Oregon, and drove it down to Vegas. It lost the alternator in the mountains before Reno. I don't blame the car, though. I paid $250 for it. Yeah, what are you going to do? Yes, in hot weather they do, but most plastic parts do. That's right. Hey, it would be cool in rear wheel drive, but who would bother back then? There are some people that did that drag raced them as a rear wheel drive thing. You know, big tires in the back. It was funky, but it was cool at the same time. Buddy says a Caprice is always a nice car. True. Ours was traded on a new 2000 Camry. We still have it. You probably will 10 years from now, too. It'll be 35 years old and you'll still be cruising along in there. You should throw that drivetrain in a Mazda or similar. I don't fit in a Mazda, Jerry. I barely fit in that Ranger. And I don't want old junk. I'm so over old junk in my life right now. After that 68 Dodge pickup and then this Barracuda. No, I want something nice, which something nice may be coming, by the way. More on that in a week or so. Where Redwood spec, I guess they needed a 90s version now. Okay. Yes, they were so nice that every Caprice came on the lot was a demo. The managers used every last one of them. We had no new cars to sell to the public. Hi, Max. Monza, I don't. Oh. Did you sell the Cuda? Yes. Barracuda is down the road motors. Out of my life. Gone, moved on to the next guy. He loves it. He's going to baby it, love it, spend all kinds of money on it, and then make it a car again. He's in good shape. At the Space Center, we had Caprices with Corvette engines from the factory. Fun times. Nice. I also have a 81 Impala 4-door sedan in my backyard. I love the Caprice too. Still have a Matco injector balance tester. It's broken from pulsing 3.1 heavy injectors. In other news, what's the forefront or Dr. projects? Just wondering. Like I said, suspension work on the Ranger, the Falcon, headliner, front rear glass, put the carpets and door panels in the interior and everything like that. Just clean it, finish it up, put it back together, and get it back on the road because it was a running and driving car at one time, and I have effed around with it for the last 4 years in the back garage. It's got to get all put back together, and I got to start driving it. Junk is okay when you're young, and junk is okay when you're old, but you get tired of junk and you don't want to see it for a while. You get over it, and eventually you bring home more junk. You need another Cobra Mustang. If I could, that 98, that was probably one of my favorite cars of all time, I got to admit. So, I don't know if I could find, I don't really like, I had a 14 GT, but that seemed too big to me for a Mustang. I don't know. I'm used to the 60s Mustangs. that size little, run around scooter car and the Fox bodies, which I've had 30 of. The bigger ones are cool, but the Coyote's cool and stuff like that. But it's just, I don't know. If I could find another low mileage 98 Cobra, I would probably buy it. But they're not out there anymore. August, Buddy traded in his 2021 Stang for 22 Silverado. Something nice. So you're getting a 76 Lincoln Continental. You got one. Congrats. Thank you. I just need no down gripes. Okay. So you have any thoughts about the differences between the Watts Link, a regular 4-link, and a Panhard bar setup? Well, a Watts Link is more for road course guys. A 4-link is not for road course guys. It doesn't articulate enough. You need like a 3-point or independent stuff like that. And a standard Panhard bar setup is for coil springs. I've had cars. In fact, the Falcon's on a Panhard bar. Works great for what I need it for. It's not a road course car, so it just keeps the rear end from going side to side. It works out good. If you have a track car and you want a Watts Link, so the suspension goes up and down, it doesn't move and things like that, and you really got a active suspension, that's the way to go. I also like the ladder bars I have on the Falcon because that thing will hook in the mud. There's a pretty decent 75 Monza Town Coupe. If you're who wants to drag it, nope. Congratulations to selling the Cuda. Yes, I was like, yay. The guy's like, well, would you consider this much? I won't say what he bought it for. And I said, is that much what you just said in your hand? And he said, yes. So I grabbed it out of his hand, stuffed it in my pocket, went in the house, gave him the title. So, boom, done, sold. Scribble Smog. Now I wonder what name it will be. I don't know. Monkey Butt Ice Cream Lover. I don't know what he's going to call the thing. Don't care. I need to get caught up with your page, but what year is the Falcon? Okay, I've had a bunch of Falcons. This one is a 64 that was originally a 6-cylinder car that someone along its life put a V8 in. When I bought it, it had no engine, no trans, but it was straight, right? It was a real straight body. And it's all Mustang stuff underneath, so I've done this. I could rebuild that car in my blindfolded in my sleep. So all new front suspension with 70 plus Mustang spindles because they have the bigger bearings. Good roller perches on the springs, some real good springs, Coney shocks, big sway bar. The rear end, the leaf springs in the 8-inch rear end that was in it, that all got taken out, put off to the side, and it's gone. I don't know what happened to it. It was years ago. Now I had a 8.8 and I had a buddy here narrow it. So now it's got 4-wheel disc brakes. A 373 gear? Yeah. 373 gear. 4-wheel disc brakes. Mini tub the rear end. Homemade job. On ladder bars. Suspension's done, right? I found a buddy of mine had a 302 that he took out of a lady's car that she wanted a new motor put in her Mustang, and this was the old motor out of the Mustang. Still ran. $50 for the motor. Took the motor, took it down, had it cleaned, checked, new cam bearings, put the stock crank in it, put the hyperpneumatic pistons back in it, new bearings, new rings, an alphabet cam, and some pretty decent skip white aluminum heads for it. They're like a 205. They flow like crazy. And then got some F-150 shorty headers, flipped them forward, built my own hot side for the turbo. So it's a turbo 302 roller motor, aluminum heads, Phytech fuel injection. And everybody says, no problem. Thing runs perfect. Behind it, it's a ram clutch with a T5, a world-class T5. And drive shaft, frame connectors, 4-point roll bar that goes back to the rear suspension. Yeah, so it's a cool little hot rod. Do I have? Let me see if I can flip up a picture here. Where are my glasses? Where are my glasses? Here we go. And now it's got a homemade paint job because before it was so ugly that it was just horrible to, it was bad. And this is, let me see, the camera can adjust. There it goes. There it goes. That's what it looks like now. So it was white. The car was originally blue. Somebody in its life sandblasted the whole car, painted it white, so it was all jammed white. So I just did a fresh coat of white with a black stripe and a cool hood scoop on it. Got the reflection of the comments. Fiberglass rear end, 11-inch wide tires, like 8.5, 9-inch wide tires in the front. Just a cool, like, little street car just for bombing around and stuff like that. And it's now the camera's got to adjust again. So there, that's the story with that one, Shannon. It's a cool little hot rod. Nothing wrong with junk. My place is full of it. Gosh, Holman, probably just a Barracuda again. No more Chryslers. No, but I maybe you'll see here in a week. Do they have a special school for Mustang drivers to learn how to leave on cruise nights? No, they just take out their brains and insert right foot and go. That's just how they. I've had literally hundreds of Mustangs, and as even still once in a while, I'll loop one. Just getting crazy. It just once they go over center, you can't stop them. So there you go. Auto auction rebuild just sold his Cobra at Barrett Jackson. Has 11,000 miles on it, but it was flooded with a clean title. He got $3,500 for it in 1998, I think. It's a flood car. It's worth $650 in my mind. You need a nice 1930. Nope. Dr. Art's Heart Rod has in something I can give attention to without being off the road. Yeah, that's if you're gonna have a project car, you don't want to have it sit in the back garage for years. You want to be able to run around and enjoy it, even if it's a piece of junk. It's much more fun that way. I think it's pronounced Silverito. It's dinner time, guys. All right, Mexicans back. Adios. See you, buddy. Thanks for being here. Take it easy. Just catching up with chat. I go back to scribbles. I'm not above silly card names. People that I don't know why the manufacturers don't entice people when they buy a new car to name it. Because when people name that car becomes endeared to them. And if you have a car that's endeared to you, you end up spending more money, keeping it longer, getting another one just like it to replace it. Instead of the mentality of just, buy a car, get out, throw it away. Get these people to be emotionally involved in their car. They'll enjoy it more, they'll take better care of it, and they'll come back and get another one. But I don't know why it's not encouraged by the car companies as a simple tactic to just get people to fall in love with their $35,000 bad investment. I don't know, just a rant. Fun with cars. Good night, sir. Appreciate you being here. Bye, buddy. Put the Ranger drivetrain in a Fairmont. If I could find one. Not opposed to that. I named mine too. I like Scribble's name. It was coming along good as a viewer. I will miss him. And the guy does not have a YouTube channel that bought it. I asked. So it's, if I see it again up on in the wild, I will update everybody. Oh, okay. We're here to help rebuild. Remember, everyone, to throw likes early. Apparently it helps. Yep. Be like Olive. Make a like. Justin said, sweet. Looks good. Bye, everyone. Very nice, Falcon. Thank you. T5, so you're running a manual transmission with a turbo 302. Sounds like a good setup. It's a lot of fun. And that car is 2,400 pounds. With a 5-speed and big fat tires. And it sounds like a jet engine when you you put some load to it, because turbos like load. That's how they build boost, because you need engine load. If it's a light car like this thing is, and you're in first gear and you're geared right, it takes off. Yeah, the turbo will spin, but the engine's not really trying that hard. In second gear, it starts to pick up and build a little bit more boost because you're loading the turbo. You get into third, and it really starts to load the turbo, and it really takes off, and it sounds like a freaking jet engine. It's like, it's a hell of a lot of fun. Sounds fantastic. Everyone should have one. Join us again next time. That's right. Are you getting a Challenger? Who said that? Do you ever think you would slap a 5.4 V4 into an SN95? No, if I was going to do a 4-valve SN95, I would just put a Coyote in it. Not a fan of the 5.4s. Just because of the whole plug thing. I think that's what really turned them off. I'd rather spend the money and make it hurt once and put a Coyote in it. Even if it's a Gen 1 or Gen 2 Coyote, it'd still be better for that. You put some boost on that and you'd be better. Or do you like the bona fide non-PI Cobra? I like the 98. I love that car. It was great that everything ran like crazy. I had it in Texas and in Vegas, and in Texas when I could tell this now because the statute of limitations is far from gone. From my house to where I worked was, I think it's like 23 miles. And early one Saturday morning, I made that trip in about 13 minutes. So yeah, we were moving that Saturday morning. I was being chased by a guy in a diesel Dodge pickup truck down, was it 30 at that point? Or 20? Anyway, the one that runs, freeway that runs south of Dallas, because I was living in Mansfield, and you take 287 up to, I think it was 30. And then you take that up to where I had to go up to 365. But yeah, just like prison time hauling ass early Saturday morning. So no, that car was great. It had all Hotchkiss suspension. It was lowered a little bit, had a great exhaust on it. That car was fantastic. The Falcon resembles a XP Falcon. Yeah, very popular here. Yeah, they do. They are very close. Oh yeah, there's my Volvo I prefer to make my project of. Justin, naming modern cars is like naming a refrigerator. This is Blob, and this is Blob too. This is the brown Blob. Oh, ma'am, the brown Blob, did you get a discount for taking it in the brown? Haha. Malibu is Goldie, Mustang is Gabby. See? And then how much different is the Coyote in the Mustang compared to the F-150? Basically the same. It's a little bit in camp. I don't know for sure. This is what I'm told, and this is the way I perceive it. So I could be wrong. It's a little bit in camshaft, and it's a little bit in some tuning. But you can go all about that. You just put boost on the F-150, and well, you see what these guys do with them. 69 Cornet 500 says, "Have a good week, everybody." And we will. And with that, magically, it's been an hour. So that's what I do on Monday nights. We do an hour. We think, being a Bob, think third gen Coyote and the Stang has a different firing order. Could be. I don't know. Cams are different. I don't know a lot about them, honestly. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. But anyway, thanks everybody for being here. Appreciate it. It means a lot. If you weren't here, I would just be upstairs in my office just shouting at the curtains. So it's awesome. And with that, I'm dying. And good night. Thanks for being here. And we'll see you next Monday.